The truth seat. Everyone at Maplewood Junior High knew about the truth seat. It was just a wooden bench under the old jacaranda tree near the soccer field. It didn't look special. A little wobbly, some carvings in the wood from students long gone. But everyone knew if you sat on it and told a lie, something weird would happen. Some said your voice would squeak like a chipmunk. Others said your mouth would taste like old socks for a week. Nobody could agree on how it worked. But one thing was clear. It always found the truth. No one dared to lie on the truth seat. Well, almost no one. One rainy Thursday morning, just before lunch, a big scene broke out in the hallway. Max Carter's smartwatch was missing. And it wasn't just any watch. It was the latest holographic kind, the one with voice control and live minigames. Max stormed into the cafeteria like a thundercloud, waving his empty wrist. "It's gone. My watch. I left it in my bag during PE, and now it's not there." The room went quiet. A few heads turned. People looked at each other. Some froze. And then Max pointed straight at someone. "Lena." Everyone gasped. Lena Lopez blinked. She was halfway through a fruit cup and totally unprepared for sudden fame. "Me?" she asked, pointing at herself. "You were next to my bag. You were the last one to leave the locker room." Max shouted. Lena stood up, her face red. "I didn't take your dumb watch." "Then prove it," Max said, crossing his arms. "Sit on the truth seat." Gasps again. That was serious. Now, Lena wasn't scared of much. She skateboarded down steep hills, spoke in class without raising her hand, and once dared the principal to taste her ghost pepper candy. But even she looked nervous now. "I don't need to sit on anything," she muttered. "Then maybe you did steal it," someone whispered nearby. Lena clenched her jaw. That did it. "Fine," she said. "Let's go." A trail of students followed them out the cafeteria doors and down to the tree. The clouds were still gray above, and the air smelled like wet grass. Lena marched up to the bench and sat down. It creaked a little. Everyone leaned in. "I didn't take Max's watch," she said firmly. Silence. No squeaky voice. No weird twitching. No sudden downpour. Nothing. "See," she said. "Told you." Some kids nodded. Others shrugged. Max didn't look convinced, but he didn't say anything else. Then someone in the crowd whispered, "Let's make everyone sit on it." And that's how it began. Over the next few days, the truth seat turned into the school's unofficial courtroom. If someone denied farting during silent reading, they got sent to the seat. If a homework-eating dog story seemed suspicious, the seat. If you broke someone's pencil, told a fake rumor, stole a cookie, or peeked at your friend's test, straight to the bench you went. To everyone's surprise, it actually worked. People confessed left and right. Little lies slipped out and turned into apologies. And slowly, kids started trusting each other again. The school counselor, Mrs. Moss, noticed. "I'm not saying a wooden bench has magical powers," she told the teachers. "But honesty is definitely up this month." But not everyone loved the truth seat. Especially not Bryce Monroe. Bryce was the kind of kid who always had perfect hair and perfect grades, but a not-so-perfect attitude. He was loud, funny, and popular, and a master at getting away with everything. He loved being the center of attention. Until the day he pushed the smallest student, Eli, out of the lunch line and stole his dessert. Eli didn't say anything at first. He just went and sat on the truth seat. "I didn't push Bryce first," Eli said quietly. "He pushed me." His voice didn't squeak. His nose didn't grow. Nothing weird happened. Later that day, when Bryce passed by the tree, a group of kids called out, "Your turn, Bryce." "What?" "No way," he laughed. But the crowd was already forming. If you didn't push him, sit on the seat and say so, someone dared. "Yeah," said another. "Truth seat time." Bryce looked uncomfortable. He tried to laugh it off. "You guys seriously believe in that bench?" "Only one way to prove us wrong," Lena said, arms folded. Bryce hesitated. Then, with a dramatic sigh, he plopped down on the bench. "I didn't push Eli," he said. Instantly, his voice came out high-pitched, like a helium balloon. "I didn't push Eli." Everyone froze, then burst into laughter. Bryce's face turned the color of tomato soup. He stood up so fast the bench wobbled. It's broken. Someone's messing with it. But the damage was done. Word spread. Bryce the Great had been caught. And suddenly, the truth seat was really real. After that, the bench was treated like sacred ground. Some students even wrote a sign, "Tell the truth or sit and squeak." But over time, things started to change. The line for the bench grew longer. People began using it not just for real problems, but for everything. I didn't eat your chips. I did my part of the group project. I didn't start the rumor. Eventually, someone got sent to the bench just for looking at someone in a suspicious way. Teachers started to worry. Mrs. Moss called a special assembly. "I'm glad so many of you care about telling the truth," she said. "But benches don't solve everything. And calling people out doesn't always bring justice. It can also bring fear." Lena, who had once sat on the bench herself, raised her hand. "But if people don't tell the truth, what should we do?" "Start by listening," Mrs. Moss said. "Ask, don't accuse. And remember, the real true seat isn't made of wood. It's what you carry inside." There was a pause in the gym. Then slow claps. Then real ones. The very next day, the school placed a resting zone sign near the bench. It still stood under the jacaranda tree, but people didn't force others to sit there anymore. They just sat beside each other, talked, listened, and tried to believe each other again. And something funny happened. People didn't lie as much anymore. The bench? It still squeaked sometimes, but only because the screws were loose. As for Bryce, he quietly returned Eli's dessert the next week, with a note that said, "Sorry for being a jerk. I'm working on it." No bench needed. The truth doesn't always need a seat. Sometimes it just needs someone brave enough to speak. Click to subscribe.